Are you trying to lose fat? Well, I mean, I wasn't gonna say it out loud, but so you're trying to lose fat, right? I mean, I guess maybe I just kind of want to lose weight. All right, first of all, you need to go back and watch my weight loss versus fat loss video if you have not already, because this video will make sense, but it will have way more context if you understand weight loss versus fat loss. So go back, make sure you watch that video, and then we'll get started with today's topic. All right, so now that you know the difference between weight loss, which is just numbers on a scale, and actual fat loss, reducing the amount of fat on your body, I will tell you the holy grail of losing fat. Are you ready? A caloric deficit. I know. It sounds really simple, right? So what is a caloric deficit? A caloric deficit happens when you eat fewer calories than your body needs. What? Calories are just units of energy for your body, and your body uses calories all day long, even when you sleep, just to function. So if your body needs, let's say, 2,000 calories per day for you to be you, in order to create a caloric deficit, you will have to eat fewer than 2,000 calories per day. That is it. If your body needs more energy and it's not getting it from the calories you're eating, it will utilize its other energy resource, aka body fat. That is why if you're in a caloric deficit, you burn fat. Your body doesn't have any food to utilize, so it will turn to your body's stored fat for energy. I know I made that sound really fun and exciting, so I'm gonna keep talking. So how do you get into a caloric deficit? Let me pause right here and say, if you do not want to lose weight, if you do not want to change, you do not need to be in a caloric deficit. Let me also state that this is for a limited amount of time. You cannot be in a caloric deficit for the rest of your life. At some point, you need to stop the deficit and just figure out a way to maintain all the muscle and the changes that you've made on the caloric deficit. Okay, now that we've got that settled, how do I create a caloric deficit? You can do it in 3 ways. You can create it through your nutrition, you can create it from exercise, or you can create it from a combination of both. Ooh. First and most common, and my second recommendation, would be just through nutrition. If you hate exercising or just don't have time, nutrition is definitely going to be your best bet to lose weight, aka burn fat. And I'll explain how later. Exercise, which is not the way I recommend doing it, is an option, but I will caveat it by saying you cannot outrun your mouth. It is way easier to eat 500 calories than it is to burn 500 calories by exercising. I'm not even going to get started on cardio. I don't know why cardio is the best fat loss method ever invented. It's not. But we'll talk about cardio and specific exercises in another video. And the third and best way to lose weight, aka fat, in a caloric deficit is by changing your nutrition and exercising. You need to do both. So what's the best way to create a caloric deficit, and how do I track it? What do I do? So there's 2 ways to create a caloric deficit plan. There's a long way and then there's a short way. The long way is going to be more accurate because it's going to take more effort on your part. But the short way works, it's just not as accurate. The long way would be to track what you're already eating for at least 7 days. I'm talking about Sunday to Saturday, not Monday to Friday. Take that total amount of caloric intake, how many calories you ate during the week, divided by 7, and you'll get your average daily caloric intake. This is how much you're already eating. You're gonna wanna subtract 300 to 500 calories per day from this amount. Say your average was 2,000 for the week. 2,000 was your average per day for the whole week. You're gonna wanna take 300 to 500 away from that, aka 1,700 to 1,500 calories is gonna be the amount you start eating to be in a deficit. The short way is to just take how much you weigh in pounds and multiply that number by 10 to 12 to get your caloric intake per day. Let's say I weigh 140 pounds. I don't know how much I really weigh. I barely get on the scale. That's another video. Let's say I weigh 140 pounds. So my caloric intake for the deficit, this is the amount I'm going to target, would be 1,400 calories to 1,600 calories per day, give or take. Now that we know how many calories we need to eat, how do we know if it's working? The best way to know that it's working is to, 1, consistently stay on track for 28 days before you question whether it's working or not. If you haven't consistently been doing it, how do you know if it will work? Okay? Next, after you've been tracking this and being very consistent, you're gonna wanna compare those pictures. Remember those pictures I told you to take in the last video that you didn't watch because I know you didn't watch it? Go watch that video. You're gonna wanna compare pictures. You can use a scale if it makes you feel better, but I like looking at pictures and I like seeing the way my clothes are fitting. Your clothes should start to feel a little bit more loose if you have actually been in a caloric deficit for the past 28 days. If you do not feel anything, I would suggest slashing another 100 to 200 calories and being 100% consistent, because what that means is you weren't really in a deficit the first time you tracked. If you did not lose weight, if your body did not change, you were not in a deficit, I promise. So there are a million more things to discuss on caloric deficit. How do I meal plan? How do I stay consistent? What apps do I use to track? I'm here for you, and there will be plenty more videos to come on caloric deficit. Until then, make sure you hit that subscribe button and follow me on Instagram if you don't already at Workouts by Keely. Thanks for watching.